A video featuring all 4 Alpha E models and their associated flights in my quest of launching an Estes Alpha model rocket on an E12 motor and capturing its altitude. I've created individual videos for each of these. My goal here is to contain the entire project on one video. This was a wonderfully fun project and highlights the creative beauty of this hobby. Enjoy. Maiden voyage of what I'm calling my E Alpha. I built this thing to fly on a 24mm E motor, but I'm going to test it out now on a B64 with an adapter and then go from there. But I'm going to work it up to being able to fly on an E. So a couple modifications I made to this. In order to fit an E motor in this thing, I put the motor retainer on the outside of the body tube and secured it with a engine block that I've peeled away and sanded down, and then I cut the fins to fit around the block, kind of like the way the high flyer is. The little high flyer, that's where I got the idea. So it would hold a 24mm motor in the body tube rather than have a motor mount inside. And again, it'll fit an E motor all the way up to here. I have a block in there right now and a mount for a B motor just to test this thing out, and painted it black with the Alpha decoration on there because I thought it looked pretty cool. Five, four, three, two, one. So it looks like parachute got hung up in, geez, wrapped around the whole tube. So interesting. I'm using, because it's going to go so high when I fire this up on an E, I've got this little, this interesting looking chute here that, well, I'll shoot it, act like a chute, but also a streamer, kind of right in between. This is C11-3. After this, I'll put in a D, and then ultimately today, if this thing survives, I'll put an E motor in this thing, and we'll go from there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, shoots out. Man, that C11 motor put it up there quick. Still have the D and the E to go. Probably will never see it again with the E, but I just needed to try it. All right, Alpha E on a C11. Let's see here, got a definite dink in the fin, but the fin didn't break, did it? No. I launched this test flight and I broke a fin in my park on grass, so I was wondering about. But man, that is covered with exhaust from the ejection charge. But everything looks good. Little teeny singe on the chute. Let's put a D in there. All right, Alpha E on a D12-3 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just kind of hanging there. Now it's dropping. All right, this one's on a D12.5. Got a little shoot damage that time. Oh yeah. But the fins are good. Motor hook is bent out a little bit. But otherwise good flight. Alpha E up on an E12.6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that did it. Holy moly. And there's an event, and I see a chute. Like be down and by lunchtime. This is my next version of my Alpha E. I built this thing to fly on 24mm E motors. I lost my first one out at the blowing dust area. This one has a streamer. I attached the engine hook with some gauze covered in glue. I saw Kevin at Kevin's Models and More do that with a model that he built. Thought, well, that's a great idea. The last time I used centering rings shaved, and then I had to configure the fins to fit around the centering ring. With this, I don't have to do that. So a little experiment. I'm just going to put this on a B64 today with an adapter, just to put it up for the first time to see how it flies. There we go, dumbass. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, streamer's out. Wind's kind of taking it a little, but it's all right. Let's see what happens here. Last time I test flew my first one out here, the fin broke because the parachute didn't come out. This time the streamer came all the way out. A little bit of wrinkling here on the tube, and I've got a lot of nose weight in here because to compensate for the bigger motors that are going to go in this thing, make sure my center of gravity is correct. But good flight. Yeah, this worked out. And the streamer, of course, usually don't do too well with an ejection charge, but this one seems to have survived pretty well with only like 3 pieces of wadding. A little bit of damage on the end. Cut that off. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see how she fares. Lots of smoky stuff around. Lots of smoke around the end of the body tube, but the streamer looks good and the fins are all on. It looks low. Nope, it broke. Dang nabbit. This day's just been a disaster. I came out here with a couple other rockets and didn't have the right recovery gear on them, and so yeah, that ain't gonna. Well, I've got some super glue at the base camp there, so let me see if I can't fix this real quick and put it up again. Alpha E on a D12.7, going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's an event. I can see flashing from the streamer. There's one of those apogee streamers on it that's reddish. Hard to focus on this because there's no clouds in the sky. This high pressure keeping up the temperatures. All right, well, the repaired fin held up. Well, it's still really hot. It's hot outside today, but that repaired fin held up great with that gel. So a little advertisement for that. And the streamer is still relatively in one piece. All right, let's put an E motor in this thing. Alpha E on an E in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I can see the streamer flashing, but that thing's a couple thousand feet up there. We'll see if the camera will pick any of this up. All right, that was on the E motor, and this that fin held. Neither of the other two are broken. Lots of exhaust around the motor tube here. Oh yeah, and that's cracking a little. I think it's just because it probably got roasted pretty good. But that motor mount held with the gauze, and the streamer is good. It's not melted at the end like the last time I flew it on the D. I mean, it's beat, but it worked. And this is a Alpha E I got back. My first one I did not. Doop. So we'll build another one where I can house an altimeter in it and see how high we're putting these things up. Getting good at these. Here's a little bit of what I've done different with the Alpha E3. This is my Alpha E2. I was able to recover this flying it on an Alpha E, but there was no room in the rocket for a altimeter. Just enough for the shock cord and wadding. So on this one, what I've done, first of all, another 3/16 lug. I once again use gauze to attach the engine hook to the side of the rocket so I could fit the E motor and any 24mm motor in there. And paint job came out wonky. The clear coat crinkled it up a little bit, but whatever. This is meant to perform, not look good on the launch field. Put a little shiny strip there to make it a little bit more visible. It'll go up on this streamer again, like the number 2 did. The first one I used a parachute and lost it. The streamer worked great, brought it right back down. But this one I want to be able to fit in this little missile meter I got from Apogee with a 3D printed holder that you can get separately with it. So what I did with the nose cone is I cut the bottom off, weighted it down with epoxy, same amount of weight as I use in clay on the number 2. Put a metal hook here to hold the shock cord. This time I also use Kevlar shock cord instead of the big elastic shot cord that I'd used on number 2, and I will attach the missile meter to this. But that little thing fits right in there. Let's see if I can do this one-handed, but yep, see, it fits right in there, no problem. So I will make sure that it's secure and tethered to this hook, and we should be good to go. So I'm going to start with a C11.3, and then I'm going to move to a D12.5, and then I'll graduate finally to an E12.6, and I should get altitude readings on each one. It is kind of blustery day a little bit today, so that might affect how high it could go without the wind, but it's time to do this. It's windy here from now until October, so it's time to roll. So here we go. Flight number 1 coming up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The streamer's out. It's always a good sign. Now we can just get it to come down. If I can get it to come down with no damage to the fins. Good thing I tethered that. I totally forgot to tape that in. I was going to put a little piece of tape. I'll do that next time. But let's see the main issue here. Almost got caught in the bush. So, yep, the fins look good. A little bit of charring. Streamer looks good. Doesn't look like any burning. I put a piece of tape at the very end of this time because usually they start shredding. Actually, it started to a little bit right there. These just come apart real quick, but I only need this last 2 more flights. And let's see what we got for an altitude. Oh, it's got that weird old TV flicker going on, but it's 893 feet that went. All right, sweet. D12.5 next. Alpha E3 on the D12.5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pop, and streamer's out. Oh, looks like I might have hit a bush. Well, I wasn't lying with a hard hit, dag nabbit. Split that fin. Shoot. Motor stayed in this time. Wadding ejected. Streamer's good. 1,780 feet on a D12.5. All right, I'm gonna see if I can do a field repair on that fin. I've got my super glue gel stuff and get it up here on the E. Well, I got so tweaked about this broken fin that I didn't notice until I started walking back that I lost my nose cone. The eye hook just ripped right out of that thing. It was epoxied in there. So that was the weakest point. So lesson learned on that. I'll need to do that again to fit this thing in there. But the next time it's going to be more than, well, I'm going to have to use it. More epoxy, a different kind, something different. And I really wanted to use a D12.7. I didn't have one. I think that probably contributed to it because it was going up so lickety split fast. By the time it wasn't quite at apogee when the ejection charge hit at 5 seconds. At 7 it would have had a better chance, so that probably contributed to it as well. So time to go look for a nose cone. If I don't find it, then this one's done. Well, with each iteration of this model, I've learned some things and made some decisions to change it to try to give it the best chance possible to get up and down on an e-motor in one piece and flyable afterwards, kind of certifying this thing on an e-motor. One thing I did this time is I've carbon fibered this edge and all 3 fins. I papered the fins with Avery labels. I've seen people do that. I've tried the one with Titebond and Elmer's glue and CA glue without very much success. But I heard about people doing this, so I tried it. It worked beautifully. The fins look like they've been sanded and sealed, and they painted perfectly. So that's been done. I have a e-motor clip from Estes this time. The last rocket, number 3, used an old custom rocketry clip that kicked the motor out the first time I flew it. I gauzed it on again, so this is a soaked piece of gauze that's hardened to sanded down smooth, painted over, and a sticker on the top just to make it look a little bit pretty, but to hold the clip on, this has been working great. 3/16 launch lug, aerodynamically cut. I'm sure that'll give me about 1.5 feet more altitude. And the other thing I did was the last nose cone on the number 3, the reason I couldn't fly the 3rd one is after a demotor flight, it tore out the eye hook that I had in the nose cone. I had sawed off the end of the nose cone, put an eye hook in it, and made room for the altimeter, which is in this little, it's a missile meter altimeter I got from Apogee that fits in here and tethers to the eye hook. Well, this remained tethered to the eye hook, but the eye hook tore out of the nose cone because it wasn't really secured in there. So it occurred to me after thinking about this that the Alpha 3 nose cone has a marvelous eye hook attachment. So that's what this is. This is an Alpha 3 nose cone that I've epoxied an eye hook into. It has a very deep base for attaching that eye hook because it was made to do that. So I'm not worried about this tearing out. A Kevlar cord again, and it's nose weighted with epoxy instead of clay, so it doesn't move or melt in the heat out here, and it fits perfectly the missile meter altimeter, which I will tether to that nose cone hook. And then the last thing I've done is I'm using a different material for a streamer, and going streamer again for sure. But this is a material that I found after watching a guy on YouTube who's called the streamer guy. He's a model rocketeer who will use 25-foot streamers on his rocket using this material that's designed to hang out in your garden and reflect the light and scare birds away. So I'm using that this time. I'm hoping it's a little bit lighter weight than the Mylar I was using, and I think this is going to be tougher as well. And he's had lots of success with it, so I thought I'd give it a shot. So those are the modifications.
Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! What was that? I think you need a bigger motor. What motor was that?
It was an E12.
It's an E12.
Oh.
Almost in orbit.
Man.
There you go.
Keep your eyes on it if you possibly can. I can see it twinkling away.
Yep, it's got a streamer on it. Should come right back down today.
That's why the biggest, smallest rockets on the planet.
Yep, that was a minimum diameter E-motor in that thing.
Yep, you got everything out of that E-motor.
Yep.
All right, you got good eyes on that?
I've got it.
Fairly easy with that streamer.
Okay, lots of dirt. Everything looked good. The tube is definitely cooked, which I expected. The fins are all on. Altimeter's still there. The nose cone's there. Came down on a streamer. These epoxied fins are nice and tight. I don't see yet any cracking. The motor hook stayed on. Let's check the altimeter. Okay. I understand that this doesn't catch on the video the altitude, but it went 3,066 feet. 3,066 feet on an e-motor. This did exactly what I wanted it to do. That's amazing. All right.